My name is Steve Long. I'm a professor of crop sciences and at the University of Illinois in the United States and also at the University of Lancaster in the UK. Our approach has been based on the process of photosynthesis. This is the process that converts sunlight energy into the food which drives the growth of our crops. What we did was to then describe that as a system of differential equations. And then this took quite a lot of background research, but eventually we could simulate the whole process in silico. We could then apply to that an optimization routine to say, well, where should we be investing in these 160 steps to get the biggest bang for our buck? And this was really quite a long journey to get there using high performance computing. But eventually we came up with a series of predictions on how we could improve photosynthesis. You think 160 steps, all of those variable, that gives you billions of possible permutations. There's no way we could experimentally work on all of those. So the role of the computer was really to say, these look like the best bets. The modelling gave us a series of ways in which we could make changes. And then, of course, we worked from the top one that the computer predicted and started to go down. We could also see really 7 different areas in which we could intervene. Really had in these 7 areas, we've had 3 distinct successes. So in the one which has really got a lot of recognition, when leaves in the field, when they're in full sunlight, they're receiving more sunlight than they can use. And they have to dissipate that excess energy. If they didn't, it would actually damage photosynthesis. And they do that by dissipating it as heat. Now a cloud crosses over the sun, that leaf goes into shade. It carries on dissipating a lot of that energy as heat for some time, even though it could use it all now in photosynthesis. And what we did in this work was to speed up the rate at which this process dissipated. And in the greenhouse, we could see we were getting bigger plants. So that is not unusual to see an effect in the greenhouse that doesn't work in the field. So the big step was now taking this to the field in replicated plots and seeing if it worked. And after 2 years of trials, luckily we could show it really did work, and it gave us quite a large enhancement in crop productivity. Most of this research was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They care about crops for poor farmers, particularly in developing countries. So what we're doing now is putting the same change into cowpea, which is a major source of vegetable protein in sub-Saharan Africa, and we're putting it into rice. Rice is the biggest source of human calories in the world. I think there's an increasing opportunity here because another project I'm involved in is called Plants in Silico. We realized from photosynthesis that this allowed us to take a forward predictive approach of which genes we should be changing, altering the amount of expression they have, and what they're actually coding for. Now we think we could do that on a number of other plant processes. And the forward approach is attractive because it tells you directly the gene you really need to be using. Certainly Europe has been a leader in the process of photosynthesis. Much of the information we used in our modelling came from European laboratories. And ironically, on the paper on the shade adaptation that we published in Science, 6 out of the 7 authors are from Europe, working in the United States.